This is a time we're living filled with anxiety and a tremendous sense of uncertainty, particularly this weekend, as we anticipate the beginning of a new administration, all new administration. What will unfold? What will happen? We suspect that we are in for some hard times ahead. What will happen with the ceasefire? Will it be implemented? Will the hostages be released? Will the war end once and for all? Will it restart? There's so much that we're holding and bracing ourselves for these weeks and months and years ahead of us. We're still with the Los Angeles fires that have not been completely extinguished. And it is the issue of, will there be more? The issue of climate hanging heavily. And so the question is, where do we get the faith, the faithfulness, the resilience to face whatever will come? How do we build a reservoir of strength that will carry us with some sense of hope and optimism for the future, if not immediate, then maybe a little bit longer term? Where do we find that? And I suggest there's an example of such faith connected to this week's parasha, Parashat Shemot. The Torah begins the book of Exodus, Parashat Shemot, telling us the following: "Ve'ele shemot bnei Yisrael habayim miMitzrayim et Yaakov ish ubeito ba'u." These are the names of the sons of Israel who came to Egypt with Jacob, each coming with his household. Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Issachar, Zvulun, Binyamin. Then it names all the children of Yaakov that came to Egypt with him. Now we already knew that they all had come down, because we knew it from the previous parashiyot, from the previous Torah portions, the end of the book of Genesis. So why do we need to remind ourselves, or why does the Torah remind us of these names once again? The Midrash says, Midrash Rabbah, these are the names of the children of Israel. They are mentioned here to hint at the redemption of Israel. How so? Because it names them. It says Reuven, as it is stated. Reuven is from the word to see. What is it hinting at? It's hinting at a verse later, 3 chapters later in the book of Exodus. And Adonai said, "I have seen the plight of my people in Egypt, and I have heeded their outcry because of their taskmasters. Yes, I am mindful of their sufferings." That was the beginning of the turning towards redemption. So the name of Reuven, according to the Midrash, at the top of the book, even when the oppression had not yet started, it was about to start. This is the beginning of the book of Shemot. Tells us the names of the children of Israel who came with Jacob to Egypt. And just a few verses later is Pharaoh's plan to enslave them and to oppress them. And then the plan unfolds. So we're not even there. But the Midrash says the name of Reuven is already hinting at a verse 3 chapters later, where God will say, "I have seen their affliction and I am going to free them." And the name Shimon, which Shimon is about hearing. Shimon, because God heard their mourning, and God remembered the covenant with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob. God heard their mourning. The word Shimon is already anticipating that God will hear their suffering and will free them. And so these names are, according to the Midrash, hints here in the Torah that already anticipate that the redemption will come. And this is in the very beginning of very dark and difficult times. The Torah and the Midrash basically is saying you have to look, even in dark times, for the seeds, for the hints and the seeds of the times ahead when redemption will come. I think it's an extraordinary lesson for us to, in these difficult times filled with anxiety and uncertainty, to be looking throughout this time, not just now, throughout this time, to be looking for opportunities, for seeds of light, for seeds of hope, for seeds of optimism, for seeds of something that will give us a sense that there's a possibility of transformation, and there will be such things. Not everything will be swallowed by darkness. There will be many opportunities for us to do good things and to seize opportunities to move us into places that are brighter, that are more compassionate and generous and just and righteous. And we have to look for those things. We have to look for the hints. Reuven hinting that God saw their affliction and committed to their liberation. Shimon got heard. And we have this weekend the celebration of the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. And his extraordinary speech or sermon that he gave on April 3rd, 1968, the night before he was murdered in Memphis. What does he say? He says, like anybody would like to live a long life, longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And he's allowed me to go up to the mountain, and I've looked over, and I have seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. His ability to see the vision of somebody. This is a visionary, somebody who can see, even in hard and dark places, who can see ahead, who can see and anticipate, see the hints of what's coming. And he said, so I am happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. My eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. That's vision. And I want to end by suggesting to you and to all the people who are at home and joining us tonight, that in these times ahead, it will be very, very important that we come together often as a community, because it is in the Torah, it's in our prayers, it's in our community that we'll find those hints, that we will be able to envision together. When we're going through difficult times, we'll be able to envision together, to support each other, to discover together the light that will allow us to move ahead with hope and with a sense of possibility.